In Consumer Corner, we take a look at trends and products creating a buzz here in China. On today's show, we'll discuss the difference in internet speeds between mainland China and Hong Kong. Ever since Hong Kong's return to China in 1997, the country's leadership has adhered to a policy defined by a catchphrase: one country, two systems. That nominally means that while Hong Kong is part of China, it will be allowed to maintain its relatively free and democratic system of governance. But recent reports on the state of the internet in both territories have given a whole new meaning to the one country, two systems policy. Data shows that the internet in Hong Kong is not only freer, but also much faster and much cheaper. Last year, China's Internet Data Center published data showing that mainland China ranked 71st in the world in terms of average internet speeds. This year, mainland China slipped even further down the rankings to 90th in the world with an average speed of just 1.4 megabytes per second. That speed barely reaches half the global average of 2.7 megabytes, according to an American content delivery network, Akamai. The contrast with Hong Kong's internet speeds is dramatic. Akamai's statistics show Hong Kong was second only to Korea for the world's fastest internet. The measured average speed of internet in Hong Kong was 10.5 megabytes per second, 7.5 times higher than speeds in mainland China. Recently, the Southern Metropolis Daily reported on Hong Kong's fiber optic broadband networks with speeds topping 1,000 megabytes per second. With speeds like that, 1 minute is enough to download a 7.5 gigabyte movie file or over 3,500 regular music files. Meanwhile, the paper also found that the most used broadband service in mainland China could only offer packages with a maximum speed of 20 megabytes per second. As if to add insult to injury, the over 500 million Chinese netizens are paying more for their turtle-speed internet access than people in the developed world. According to statistics from China's Internet Data Center, Chinese netizens pay an average of $13.13 just for a megabyte of speed each month. That is an astounding 469 times more expensive than per megabyte prices in Hong Kong. Chinese media outlets and netizens have detailed a variety of reasons for the one country, two systems internet situation. Reports have credited a highly competitive market in Hong Kong for the low-cost, high-speed internet environment. This contrasts sharply with mainland China, where the market for supplying internet services is full of monopolies at each level. At the highest tiers, you have China's three state-owned telecom giants: China Unicom, China Telecom, and China Mobile. China Radio International reports that though these companies don't directly supply all internet connections, they have monopolized many of the broadband lines that other operators must rent. This allows them to extract high usage costs for lower-tier operators, costs that are eventually passed on to consumers. At the level of actual distribution, the supply faces another monopoly situation, with the property managers of residential compounds able to decide which internet providers supply their compound. They hold the choke point in what is known as the last 100 meters monopoly. When these property managers negotiate with third-tier operators, the high price they charge for access to their community again forces providers to push down speeds and push up costs. By the time the internet trickles down to users, both telecom giants and local property managers have taken their cut of monopoly profits. China's netizens have, of course, been all over this topic, venting and complaining on message boards about the speeds in China and the gap with Hong Kong. One user wrote, "Both Hong Kong and the mainland are China. How could there be such a huge difference? With speeds slower than a turtle and prices higher than the sky, consumers should just sneak across the river to Hong Kong and bring their cables over here." Other commentators focused on the gap between advertised speeds and those finally achieved at home. One poster wrote, "Whenever I use my internet, I get just 300 kilobytes of speed, far below the advertised speed of 500 kilobytes per second. Why do we have to pay so much for internet access that the companies end up dividing between many users? Compared to Hong Kong, operators in the mainland never provide services to match the price tag. Why is it that our internet speeds have Chinese characteristics, but we end up paying international prices?" With slower speeds, higher prices, and widespread censorship, the internet in mainland China is a drag on both daily life and business activity. The question is when the government will decide that the costs of such a system outweigh its benefits in terms of monopoly profits and information control.